Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynic Alex, and today I'm still kind of no proc. That's very interesting. I'm still kind of unsure as to whether or not I should tier 3 Iron Man. So I thought it would make sense to watch him miss a bunch of procs. No, I thought it would make sense to try him out in a couple of other game modes. I tried to originally make this video with Giant Boss Raid, so if you were joining Giant Boss Raid recently and you saw me around, that's what I was trying to do, but it didn't work out. I actually died twice with Iron Man, and I was just getting bad teammates, getting no teammates, getting a lot of people just coming and leaving. And so I decided to go into ABX instead, just kind of like on arcade mode, not really trying too seriously, not, trying to kill a boss or do anything like that. Something that I can repeat, something that I can just gauge the general flow of a character, because right now I have, of course, all other 4 blast types tier 3. I'm actually shocked at how bad the proc is right now. It's really, really inconsistent. I think I've hit it once properly on the 5th skill. So my score is definitely struggling because of that. But I have all the other 4. It's really cool that you can freeze the Frost Beast, by the way. I have all 4 other tier 3 blast types, and all 4 of them, Magneto, Doctor Strange, Jean Grey, and Sharon Rogers, they are all built for PvE content. And so it kind of makes me wonder, do I really need Iron Man? Now, on the one hand, yeah, he's really fun to play, and I get tier 3s to show you guys how good they are most of the time, not necessarily because I like playing with them, but in the case of someone like Spider-Man, that's precisely the reason why I didn't tier 3 him, because I had a bunch of other speed types for PvP. I had Quicksilver, and then I had Ant-Man. And I just didn't see, he doesn't have much value in PvE, and I just didn't really see the value in him for PvP. And then the opposite is true for Iron Man. I don't see there being many videos or many kind of clips of Iron Man doing well in PvE, so I have to assume that he's mostly, PvP. So I have to assume that Iron Man's mostly a PvE character, which is fine. But then what I'd most likely have to do, more likely than not, the situation would be that I have to convert one of my existing blast types, probably Doctor Strange or Jean Grey, to PvP only. Now that's not a bad option. Let's see what proccing on 4 does for his damage. That's not a bad option, to be honest with you, and it's something that I've considered, but it is a reality because when I tier 3 characters, generally speaking, I want to give them the absolute best build that I can, and so for PvE characters, more often than not, that means giving them either a CTP of energy, wow, another missed proc, either a CTP of energy or a CTP of rage. I have CTPs of energy for Iron Man, and I know that he can do well with a CTP of energy, but I think more likely than not, I would want to give him a CTP of rage for the absolute maximum build possible. And so in that case, I don't have one right now. I'd have to gamble for one, yada, yada, yada. I could gamble for one. Not bad. Obviously, getting less than 1 million is pretty low, but it is a tier 2 character. It is a CTP of destruction, so I'm not really that pressed about it. But then, the question would be, do I swap over Doctor Strange or do I swap over Jean Grey? And then do I spend the crystals or do I gamble for the CTPs of rage? It's kind of an interesting idea. I could also just change his CTP to an energy one and not have to gamble at all for rages, or kind of rework them and just have a bunch of blast tier 3s that are for PvE, and I'm kind of wondering what you guys think I should do in that case, or what you would do in my situation. Now I want to also showcase a little bit of Thanos, because he did get a rework with his 4th skill. Now I didn't want to make a dedicated video for one skill, although I could, and I've made videos for one picture. I just want to check it out in PvE, in ABX. Now this is obviously not the team you would use for his regular day. He can already cap at 3.5 million on his regular day with different parameters. It's not a guard hit, so it's totally different. So I just want to have fun. I'm not really looking to take this too seriously in terms of like gauging my score and calculating how much better he gets with this uniform. It's obviously an upgrade. The new 4th skill appears to have more hits. Even if it doesn't have more hits, the hits are way more concentrated, and that's a really big deal because the concentration of hits is going to allow you to proc a lot more consistently. So his old 4th skill, you'd be lucky if it hit twice on the same target in like 3 or 4 seconds because the AoE was just so wide. But now it appears that the AoE for this new 4th skill is much more concentrated, so you get those, you trigger, whether you're using a CTP of Rage or a CTP of Energy or even a CTP of Destruction, you're going to get your proc to land a lot more consistently because of the fact that he has all these concentrated laser blasts in addition to the original meteors. Now, they changed the color of the meteors, which is actually really cool, but otherwise it's the same, and it's got the lasers on top of that. I really like Thanos' new 4th skill. I already tier 3'd him, so I don't actually have any questions about tier 3ing him, but he's crushing it right now. I have no doubt that with his new buffs, he's going to be able to cap on his day even more easily. So for those of you that have invested in a PvE tier 3 Thanos, this is a big win for you. It just makes him more consistent overall without actually making him busted. Some people have also considered or kind of contemplated that his new 4th skill might make him better for PvP because it's a shorter iframe. And so because it's a shorter iframe, he spends less time doing his 4th skill. And you know, especially if you play him on auto in timeline battle, he sits there for the entire animation. He pulls back his arm and he pulls that moon down. But now he gets through it a little bit faster, especially if you don't have SFX on. And so you can get through other skills. You can get to other skills sooner, earlier, and so you may see as well. So just keep in mind he's banned for this week. That's why I didn't want to do a PvP focus on Thanos. But pay attention when you do fight Thanos, perhaps next week in PvP, because he may end up surprising you doing skills that you don't expect him to do, or getting through his skills faster because of the fact that his new 4th skill, even on autoplay, it ends earlier. And you can see I'm like crushing the score. Obviously, I wouldn't have Shuri normally, but you would have Ebony. But I believe you don't even use Ebony because the Frost Beast doesn't have... I use Ebony for the team-up, the all-attack crit rate, but actually the Frost Beast is not universal, so you actually don't even get the buff from Ebony. So actually, I should have gone with... I probably should have gone with Ronin and Cull Obsidian, but Shuri is there. She is giving me a big buff here. I wouldn't be able to go this high, obviously, without her, but it's also a different day altogether. But it's pretty interesting. It's a pretty smooth run all the way to about 3.4 almost. Just under, 4.4 million. So yeah, definitely an upgrade for Thanos. Not really much to say about it. It's an upgrade. It's just flat out a better skill. There's no reason for that skill to be worse, so I don't really have too much to say. I wouldn't build him with a fire damage obelisk, obviously, and his new 4th skill does not apply all defense down to the world boss, so just keep that in mind. His 2nd skill, Blade Cyclone, does apply all defense down to the world boss, so that one remains the same, but his 4th does not. So it's just an interesting kind of weird thing where Netmarble continues to have some skills apply all defense down and some skills not. But it also has Fracture. It's got a shorter animation. And holy damn, if you play this game casually, or if you just play this game competitively but not necessarily for high scores, turn on SFX. I mean, I'm so tempted to turn on SFX just to see Warlord Assault. It's beautiful. It's literally out of the movie. It's insane how frame for frame perfect it is. And it really is like the pinnacle of beautiful skills. I'm almost tempted to make another video, you know, top 10 most beautiful skills, because this one's definitely, with SFX on, this one's definitely going to be one of the best, if not the best. But moving back over to Iron Man, I'm honestly still unsure. I know a lot of you just want to see me do it, and so you're just going to say, you know, anything, or just shut up, Whale, tier 3 him. But seriously, like, you know, what should I do? Should I try to get another CTP of Rage? Should I basically cannibalize one of my existing Blast tier 3s like Jean or Doctor Strange and turn them into a PvP only character, and then swap that over to Iron Man? That's honestly something that's on my mind. Right now, I think both Doctor Strange and... no, not Doctor Strange, but Jean Grey is banned this week for Timeline, so I could be using Doctor Strange, and he's a nice counter to Captain Marvel, so that has crossed my mind. But then on the other hand, Doctor Strange is so good for PvE. He crushes Cull Obsidian, who's actually my world boss of the day today. I go all the way up to stage 59, and I don't really want to sacrifice that. I'm not sure if Iron Man can consistently do stage 59 at tier 3. Maybe he can, and then I should pull the trigger on it. But you know, and then do I push? Will I be able to push as high with Iron Man as I do with Doctor Strange or not? I'm not really sure. So yeah, I'm kind of at a crossroads with that. And so I wanted to do a little bit more content. I wanted to check him out. GBR wasn't that impressive, but I imagine he's a lot better at tier 3. But I've heard that he's still not that fast at tier 3 for GBR unless you have, I guess, a CTP of Rage. But of course, way better for PvE. And then sadly, it doesn't seem like he's good enough for PvP. I've heard some people saying his 5th skill might have partial iframe ignore. I was testing it out a bit against Thanos World Boss Ultimate. I didn't see any iframe ignore at all, so I highly doubt it. His 4th skill appears to continue to do some of the effects, like once you summon Rescue, if they go into iframe, Rescue continues to shoot lasers around, but there's no damage. It's just kind of like a persistent effect. Once the ally has been summoned into the fight, they're not going to leave again. If the iframe, like if you lose targeting, your character loses targeting because the skill itself is not actually a character, it's just a skill effect, and so that's why it keeps going. But yeah, so I passed the question on to you guys. I actually have a few questions to pass on to you guys. One, honestly, should I tier 3 Iron Man? And then on top of that, more importantly, what should I do? Should I make a separate video gambling for more CTPs of Rage to try to get one for Iron Man and keep Doctor Strange and Jean Grey the same? Should I just spend 1,200 crystals taking off his CTP of Destruction and taking off Doctor Strange's CTP of Rage and basically doing the old switcheroo? I wouldn't be giving Doctor Strange the CTP of Destruction, but just saying. Or should I not tier 3 him? Lastly, I purchased Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 today on Switch, and I'm going to be playing it on Twitch in about an hour, or actually possibly 2 hours from now. But my question to you guys is you can come and watch me on Twitch, that's cool. But my question to you guys is, do you want to see content on the channel about this game or not? It wouldn't necessarily be like walkthroughs and shit. It might be, but it might just be you know, a gameplay of like a let's play sort of thing of it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you want to see that? Do you want to see this? And what should I do in my predicament for the quest for the ultimate PvE character? Hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Subscribe if you enjoy the content, yada yada yada. Discord, Twitter, Twitch, and of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Take care.